Hello, folks. Tim back with you for this Thursday edition of Tim Talk. It is Thursday, February 26th, 2026, and looks like it's going on to about 8:30 tonight. Figure I'd get on here and share a few words and just talk about some things. I'm going down to the cemetery this weekend to see my son's headstone that finally got set the other day, and I think me and my mom and my brother are all going to go down there and bring some fresh flowers and a couple things to brighten the place up. I'm gonna take the wind chime back down there and put it up since they've got it set. I want to go ahead and do that, get that back up there, so that's really pretty. And there's a few other things that I need to set back down there that was given to us at his viewing and funeral. And I'm gonna be 50 this year. My son died when he was 29 in 2024. Just don't seem fair. Just don't seem right. Just don't seem right at all. I miss him. I miss him too much. Just really can't believe that it's real sometimes. I really can't. I mean, imagine spending every day with somebody for years and years, and then you just wake up one day and all that changes. That person's gone, and not only are they gone, they're never coming back. And it's just it's hard to grasp. It's hard to understand. It changes you. When you lose a child, it changes you. It turns you into something that nobody else that hasn't lost a child could never understand. You got people that can, like my therapist, he's great, love him, but he'll never be able to understand how I really feel, who I really am, because you can't put it into words. You can't explain it. You're just different. But honestly, I think it's different. It's different for people, for some people, because you have to really you really have to have a truly pure, unconditional love for that child. That special connection, which I have with all my children. It's like, to me, I don't know. It's just a natural thing that I've felt it since each of them was born. I mean, You would do anything for them. You would die for them. You would be tortured for them. You would give your heart if they needed one. You would give your eyes if they needed. You would just give anything for any one of those precious souls. And then to lose one, God, it makes you feel so out of, like, it's so out. It's out of your control, and you can't fix it, and you can't make it better, and it just really, really, really crushes a man's soul and heart. Because you just can't make it better, and you want to make it okay. You wish you could go back. Oh, okay, now I know. But you can't. You can't go back. So you gotta try to learn. You're learning to live all over again. You really are. You've got to learn how to act. You've got to learn how to present yourself around other people. You've got to learn how to function in public as opposed to private. You have to put on a suit of regularity when you're around others that you can shed when you get home, because you don't want to drag others into your darkness. And if they saw the bare, the real, the honest, and heard the bare, the honest you, it would absolutely frighten them. It frightens me at times. Because I have 4 other children and 2 grandchildren that I love just as much as I loved Luke. But they're here, and they're happy, and they're healthy, and they're living great lives, and they deserve a father that can come to the wedding and to play with the grandbabies. But I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is I can tell you that time doesn't make it any better. Whoever thought of that bullshit was just spewing a bunch of crap out of their mouth, because time does not make it better at all. It does not ease it. It does not make you do not become more comfortable. You aren't dealing with it any better. You're just hiding it and masking it. But maybe that's the way it should be. You know? I don't think you should be able to get past losing a child. And I think if you can, that means that you really didn't love that child the way the child was meant to be loved. You didn't love him with the unconditional love that God talks about, with no conditions. You can't just love them when they're good. You can't just love them when they're making straight A's. You can't just love them when they've got a perfect driving record. You gotta love them when they have that accident. You gotta love them when they get a C or D. You gotta love them when they make mistakes. Even if they make mistakes every day, you've gotta love them and keep encouraging them and helping them. But I know a lot of parents out there that are not like that. I know a lot of parents that shouldn't be parents. And it's just sad. It's just sad. It's just sad that I don't have my son anymore here with me. And I wish I did every day. So yeah, that I just wish he was here. There's just a hole in my life, and I've been trying to hold it all together, and I think I've done pretty good job of it. But I know it hasn't been perfect, but I don't know. I guess I just wanna. Sometimes I just want to scream at the world, scream at life, just say F you to life. I wish things could be different. He would already be 30 now. He would have turned 30 this year, and then 25. Yeah. And I just never dreamed I'd have to bury one of my kids. It's a parent's worst nightmare. Well, it should be. If it's not, then there's something wrong with you in the head. Something wrong with you in the head if that ain't your biggest fear as a parent. Well, enough about that. It's been 15 minutes. Spent 15 minutes on that. I had my first live today and talked a little bit about that. And, my spiritual journey afterwards and talking to God and growing closer to God and increasing my faith and my knowledge and all that. And it went pretty good. I talked for about 45 minutes. I had a handful of listeners, I think at one time it was close to 100. But I'm going to start doing one live a day. Haven't decided what time I'm going to do it yet. Probably going to make it around. I'm going to wait for everybody to get home from work, so whoever wants to watch it can watch it. Probably start doing it around 7 or 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, East Coast time. Probably most of the time when I get on live, I'm going to talk about, if there's something big going on in the news, I'll probably discuss it. And then I might talk about my son a little bit and, what's going on in my life personally. But then I'm going to start talking pretty heavy on religion, on the way that I believe, and on the state of the world, and how fake it is, and how it's being run, how it's all just a stage, and it's all being run from the shadows by a peoples that their whole lives they've been pretty terrible to God and pretty terrible to the rest of the world, and just a pretty terrible people. And some of them are Rothschilds. That'll give you a clue. The Rothschilds, one of the most evil families in the world. The Rockefellers were right up there with them. The Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, the J.P. Morgans, the George Soroses, and all those disgusting people that are evil, and they run things from the shadows. They're pretty much in charge of everything. I mean, they pretty much owns the central banking system that every country in the world is basically every country in the world is part of the central banking system that the Rothschilds started. And of course they started with loans. They started charging these high interest rates and making themselves rich and basically bankrupting on people and doing land grabs by foreclosing on people and just evil people. But in the Bible strictly speaks on the subject of usury, which is the same thing as interest, loan interest. Today, you're not supposed to do it. If you loan someone, you loan it to them, and when they get you, if you have it to loan, you loan it to them, when they pay you back the exact amount that they borrowed. Anything other than that is called usury in the Bible, and it's classified today as an interest rate. Now, that in itself is bad, but think about how God feels about capital gains taxes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just sickening. It's disgusting. The shape of the world, and the world is a two-tiered system. It's a tier for the average Joe, and then the elites. The elites get away with everything. They don't never see real justice. They don't ever have to pay for their crimes. It's just, it's sad. It's really sad that the world is like that, and that you can't jump from one to the other, and there is no in between like there used to be, because that gap has just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. I'll blame it. The presidents have caused the majority of it. Before Ronald Reagan got in office, with this trickle-down economics bullshit, I don't even fucking think. It's the most retarded and dumbass shit I've ever heard in my life. Before he went into office, the average distance between a CEO and an everyday blue-collar worker, the salary difference was 4 to 1. 4 to 1. It seems pretty fair, right? I mean, you're making 25% of what the guy that started the business and owns the business and runs the business is doing. He's got other people to pay, not just you. So, yeah, that's pretty fair. Just a couple years ago, I was reading an article, and now, I'm not going to say now when I was reading it, which was probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago, around 2020 probably, 2018, 2019, I don't know. It's been 5, 6, 7 years. But the average difference now is 4,000 to 1. How fucking sad is that? How fucking sad is that? And all these rich and these elites and all these people have went around and bought up all the apartments and rental homes, and now you have to have a better credit score and be in a better financial position in order to rent than you do to buy, because there's programs for low credit and first time buyers. There's all kinds of programs for that. So that you can't even rent if you can't even rent a freaking apartment. A kid going out for the first time can't even rent. Every now and then, it's like a needle in a haystack. You may find some person that's only, what I would call a small-time landlord's got a couple, 3 houses, and may be able to, get your foot in one of those, but it's very rare. It's very rare. And even if you do, the rent's still going to be, because they're not, I understand, even the small time ones, they gotta keep up with, Well, no, they actually don't have to, but the human part of them is going to charge. Well, if Joe Blow down there's got a 4-bedroom, 2-bath for $1,200, then my 3-bedroom, 2-bath is I'm gonna rent it for $1,125. You know, it's just economics. But what I'm saying is that that gap has grown so much, it's choking out. And I think it's all by design. It's choking out the working class. I think they want to make it to where the working class doesn't own anything anymore. I don't think they want us to own homes. I don't think they want us to own our own vehicles. I mean, a new vehicle now is selling them up around $100,000 just for your average everyday vehicle. I mean, what kind of insanity is that? I paid $73,000 for my first house, which was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage brick home. It's insanity. But yeah, I think basically what they want is they want total control. So they're getting us out of homes. They're pushing us to where we can't afford rentals. So, it's like you're drowning, the ship's going under, and they've taken the lifeboat, the escape boat. It's not there anymore. So basically, I mean, there's not really much left that you can do at that point. Hopefully you've got family. Maybe you go into a hotel type setting. Maybe you've got enough cash on hand saved up to, or even a 401k that you can cash in and buy a few acres of land and put a mobile home on, but we can't let them win. We can't let them win. I think what they're trying to do is get us all to where we don't have any kind of assets whatsoever. Cars, homes, big assets is what I'm talking about. And very little cash. And I think they want the working class to live in government owned government/corporate owned, because corporate America basically runs fake America, which is ultimately ran by I hate to even say it, but the ones that crucified our Savior. And, they just want us all to be slaves. They'll say, oh, no, this is like I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Maybe a dystopian type, utopian type thing where, you've got this nice home, this nice apartment home, and the government allots you so much for food every month and so much for clothing and so much for entertainment, as long as you work the 60 hours every week at whatever place it is they tell you to work and what to do. You'll basically be working. It's, be a modern day slavery system. And that's what they want. And ultimately, we're headed that way. We're well on our way. And I'll also tell you this, that there's also a big plan, and the test run was the COVID-19 pandemic for a major depopulation globally. The global cabal, the people that I was talking about, the elite of the elites, the old blood families that are nothing but pure evil. That they don't want. They want this whole earth for themselves, and they only want enough people to do the jobs that they don't want to do. And I've heard the number globally around 250 million is what they want, which is actually less than the population of the United States. The United States is like at 340 or 350 million. So, but they want, the number I've always heard is 250 million was their target number. But yeah, that's what they're. That's the shape the world's in now, and anything you see on the news is just propaganda or distraction, or to keep you away from what's really going on and what's really happening. The real big news. They're just trying to you hear it, you watch, you dig deep enough, you find the clues. You go down the rabbit hole and you find the clues. One of the big ones too is Antarctica. The only treaty signed by the main players of the world that's never been broken. Why is that? What's going on down there? I'd like to know. I want to dig down into that rabbit hole a little bit further. I mean, I've heard a few rumors, but that's all they are, unsubstantiated. They're. One of them is that it's an entrance to what's called Inner Earth. I don't know. I've never really heard a whole lot on that subject, but they've made a few movies about it and wrote a few books about it, and then I've also heard that it's could be an entrance to other lands. Then, of course, I've heard the flat Earth theory and seen the alternate flat Earth maps, and I know the Bible talks about it. The foundations of the Earth and how it was made, and how Wernher von Braun, the grandfather of NASA, brilliant German scientist that we stole from Germany after World War II. The only thing he has on his tombstone is a Bible verse, and that Bible verse is the one that talks about the firmament on the earth. And then you look up and you think, the sky's blue. And you go to a place where waters haven't been polluted and are rarely messed with. And look and see what color they are. And then look at the sky on a clear day. It's the same color blue. And the Bible talks about how the firmament divided the waters from above from the waters below. It divided them. It was a dividing. So is that real? Is outer space a big bunch of bullhuggy thought up by these elites to make all of us feel very small and without meaning, we're just a speck of dust in this vast universe that means nothing. We have no value. Well, I would think that that would be one way to help gain control of even the evangelical people. You know, if we can even convince them that the earth is round and spinning millions of miles an hour and just blasting through space on a helical curve, then it's going to make you feel small and insignificant. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that. I've questioned it. I haven't come to a conclusion. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I trust in God the Father. And I know that when I'm done with this life, I'm going to be with Him in heaven with all of my family that's gone on before. But it's still interesting to talk about, and it's still interesting to research. And I get a lot of reading and studying takes my mind off things, and my mind needs to be occupied, or I will drive myself crazy thinking about things. And so, you know, I'm gonna keep digging into the Antarctica thing and the firmament thing and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and I'm gonna do an episode on each of them. The Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, and the Rothschilds, and the peoples that turned their backs on God again and again and again and again all throughout the Old Testament until he had enough, and he put it on the Roman army's hearts to go and destroy Jerusalem. And that's how he poured his wrath out on them. All the blood of the prophets was held at the hand of that generation. And the Roman army left that place desolate. Desolate. Trampled it to the ground. Even with the ground, not one stone laid upon another. And more, I'm gonna dig some more into those people that hide in the shadows and manipulate and kill and do bad things, secretly run run things all over the world. They're so very evil. They're so good at getting people to setting people up, blackmailing people. They find out what their weakness is, and they entice them into it, and then they get evidence against them, and that's how they blackmail governments and corporations and all that stuff. They're an evil group, and I mean, why else? I better digress on this, or I'm going to get myself into trouble. But yeah, that's not. We'll touch up on all those subjects, and we'll talk about the history of how until the 50s the encyclopedia still had the flat Earth map in it, and really outer space didn't really become a big thing until NASA started, and it's there's a lot of interesting stuff out there that people need to look into. And that Epstein Island thing, I'm just going to tell you right now, that wasn't Epstein. It was the blackmailers. They wanted to get the goods on everybody. Boy, what a way to do it. But I'm just going to let this go for now, and I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll just say I love you all, and that I hope y'all are all doing well, and you're taking care of yourselves and taking care of your families, and tell your kids and your brothers and sisters and everybody in your family, just tell them you love them, and let them know that you care about them and you're thinking about them, and I care about all of you, all my fellow people. I really do. I just wish everybody only longed for peace, stability, and happiness. The world would be such a better place. So anyway, I'll jump off here, and I will talk to you guys next time. Love you guys all. See ya.